Thank you for coming back to We Are the People. And joining me today is Todd Clapp. Right? Did I
Correct.
got you right? Okay. And then Rick Stroll has joined us again today as well. Todd here has found a way to help the student loan situation. Now, Todd, Rick and I have both been victims of the student loan issue. I mean, you know, Rick is in default. I'm getting there close. Now, it's my understanding, weren't you getting pretty close to that yourself?
I was there, actually.
Okay, so you were. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened and how that brought you to where you are now?
Sure. Well, I guess originally I was contacted to through a couple credit agencies. Kept on hassling me. I knew my loans were in default, and it actually got to the point where I got a tax set-off, where they were taking my taxes that I paid and putting them towards paying my student loans.
So you weren't getting your refunds because they were being pulled out before you could get them?
Correct, and actually it was a very bad time for me. I was expecting that money for some car insurance, and it was $1,200. And had I gone through the process that we now make available, you know, I would have been able to do it and actually still had $800 left over and been on the right track.
Bought groceries and put gas in your car and paid your insurance, right?
And the electric bill.
Yep. So, you know, when the tax set-off came, and I eventually decided that I needed to do something. So, you know, they called me, the collection agencies had called me, and had pitched, you know, putting me into a rehabilitation program, and had told me that, you know, you're going to get your wages garnished next. You're already in a set-off. They actually didn't even know. They were just threatening all this stuff. They didn't know that I already had a tax set-off. I did. And you know, I was working for a law firm at the time, and I went in, and I'd gone to law school, so I decided to do a little bit of research on this. I said, if someone could figure this out, you know, it should be me. And you know, after spending a lot of time finding a lot of information, but not a lot of procedural information, not a lot of know-how, not a lot of implementation, and not a lot of ideas on how to implement this great government program that's out there. I eventually called several companies to you know, again, do my research on them.
Right.
And they ranged from charging me a percentage of my loans, which were $90,000. So some of them wanted $9,000 to do it. Some of them wanted less. And I finally settled on a company, which and started to you know, go through them, which worked out well. And after that, I began to work for a law firm that was doing this.
Did you?
So, you know, I was able to see, you know, more of the back end to get an idea of the process that goes on.
So you did actually work for a law firm that is doing what you have.
What we are doing now.
You take it and tweaked it.
Correct.
Okay, so you are doing things differently than what you.
Correct. Well, a little bit. We're charging a lot less.
You know? Thank you, because you know, when you're in trouble, that's a big issue.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really our goals. We've spoken about, is to try to help people, and you know, it's the way that I looked at it. It was that, you know, I could spend 3 or 4 more weeks trying to figure it out and maybe not get it done right, or hire somebody to do it right for me, and that's why we offer, we guarantee our results, you know, that we're going to get it done right for
That's
you.
very unusual. Now, I can tell you, I call a lot of these type of companies, and kudos to you for actually coming on the show, because I can't tell you how many people, once they find out what I do, they won't even talk to me. So thank you for being here.
Well, our goal is to help people. I think we share that interest, and you know, at the end of the day.
So you've created a business. What's the business that you've created?
Well, essentially, it's a document preparation business. What we do is, you know, having worked for all these law firms and having helped create all these systems to do all their litigation, essentially what I've done is I've taken one of these systems and made it so that it works for student loans. And we go through the process. We you know, obviously pull the loans, and we're a neutral party. Obviously, we want to choose what's best for you. We're not there to give legal advice. We're not a law firm. But as compared to the collection agencies, they're not on your side.
No, not at all.
They give you the warning. This is everything you say can and will be held against you. Having one of the things that happened to me actually is, I was going through my documents the other day from the collection agency, and they had me sign a document that waived my right to consolidate my loans through the program here, and I presume that everybody here understands what the program is. Most of your listeners know the program that's out there through the DOE, through the federal program, through the
income-based repayment program.
The income-based, well, they have it graduated through the William T. Ford Act, and
there's several of them now that didn't used to be there even 7 years ago.
Right. 2010 was the most recent funding for this, and the act that allowed them, and that's where since then a lot of this processing has come up.
So tell me how you're different from other companies.
Sure. A couple things. Like I said, we don't pretend to be a not-for-profit company. Certainly, we need to pay our employees.
Right.
We do offer the money-back guarantee when we do guarantee our results, and we're essentially once we're not going to take on somebody that we're not going to help.
So you have a protocol that you go through to see basically if they qualify for help.
Absolutely. Actually, once the intake process begins, before we take their first payment, they has to be approved by the manager of the processing department. Must approve them to be moved into the program.
And what determines approval?
He reviews the file. A couple things. One, just he wants to look at their loans. There's certain circumstances where you can't consolidate, and one of the things that we do whenever anybody contacts us, we send them out information. There's information on our website. If you have contacted us in the past, we send out a weekly newsletter every week trying to educate them on something. So, for instance, if you've consolidated all your loans,
right.
There's certain circumstances you can't reconsolidate them. You need to have another loan to consolidate in. So, if you consolidated prior to 2007, you may or may not be able to reconsolidate your loans, and that's on a case-per-case basis.
Okay.
In addition, we also don't charge the residuals, which some companies do.
Yeah, most of them they'll take you have $90,000 worth of loans. They're going to take $900. Down, and then they're going to cut the rest of that 10% up into monthly payments and either offer a membership of some sort or some kind of gimme that they're going to give.
Right. We're a one-time fee. We charge a one-time fee. It's all up front. We're not going to try to get you for anything else. After you've been enrolled in the Department of Education program, if you're on an income-based program, there is a yearly something that you do have to do a year.
Every year, yeah.
But they shouldn't charge you $300 a year.
No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. And especially when these people are in financial straits yourself. And the reason that you're here is because you've went through this. Okay. So now, are you going to be sitting for your bar?
Oh, no, I've sat for my bar.
You did? Okay. Yep. So you're not practicing law, though? You're doing this?
I'm pending my licensing, so
awesome.
I have to wait for that to get done. Thank you.
Congratulations. So, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to spend some more time with you. I'd like to go in a little bit more. Today was much shorter than I like. I think you have a lot of information to share. What would be your number one piece of advice to somebody that's in trouble with their student loans?
Well, I would say you want to take care of it, sooner than later, and to get some help somehow, and to get it done, to get halfway through the process. Why we're here is to help people get through the process.
Because you eventually got to get back to those loans regardless.
You have to. I mean, your wage garnishment, you don't want to be in the situation that I was in. And, one of the great things about this program is if you're starting a family or if you have families, your payment can be determined. If you're on an income-based program, your payment is lowered if you have more family members or more dependents or what have you, and more expenses.
But doesn't that interest all add up on the back end?
Oh, well, it's always going to add up. I mean, interest is always going to run. Now, there's different types of, programs depending on if you're in default or not. And there's people that come to us in different situations.
So now, do you actually help? Because a lot of these companies don't help people get out of default. Do you help people get out of default?
Yes, absolutely. We will.
And you're reasonably priced compared
well-
to these other companies.
Absolutely. Well, sometimes to get them out of default, sometimes we don't even charge to get them out of default,
Wow.
depending on their situation and tax garnishment. We have a lot of information on our website about.
Give your website.
It's
you have all that
wefixyourstudentloans.com. I thought making it very easy to
Yeah,
remember.
wefixyourstudentloans.com. I like that.
It's the name of the company is We Fix Your Student Loans.
Okay, we've just got a couple minutes left. There was a particular point I wanted to make, and it just blew out of my head. Okay, all right, so say you have Sally Mae is calling, they're breathing down your back. I know what it was. Statute of limitation on private loans. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We
Now, you deal with just government loans, I know.
currently. Again, and this is not, obviously I can't give any legal advice, but there is the statute, Florida statute on a promissory note, which is what you sign when you do these loans, is 5 years. Now
When does that 5 years start?
The statute reads there's a number of triggering factors, and you can Google this, or for any state that you're in, you can look at you can just Google your statute for promissory notes, and there's a couple determining factors. One is either a default or the expiration of or 5 years past the last payment due on that
Last
note.
payment due. So then if you've decided for whatever reason you have to go into default, don't let them talk you into a $10 payment, because that's going to restart your...
Yeah, absolutely. A novation, that's called a novation, and that certainly can bring you back out.
Todd, give them your phone number and web address real quick.
Sure. It's 954-241-1811, and the web address, wefixyourstudentloans.com. You can email us at info@wefixyourstudentloans.com, and you can call us. There's no obligation. We give a free consultation. You're not obligated
All
by
right.
the phone call.
And we're going to have you back for a full show where we can go over some stuff. And
Thank
then
you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Mine.
Little Joe never once gave it away.
You have been listening to We Are the People with social advocates Tracy Marks and Jorge Estamba, who every week bring to the light the needs and changes in our current system. Tune in every Monday night at 7 p.m. on wearethepeople.tv and participate in the conversation in the chat room, or call 888-565-1470. Tune in next Monday for more information and facts. And Tracy and Jorge remind you to stay aware of your surroundings and challenges at all times.